This is my okay. So there are a couple of things which we will learn before we actually start coding. The first thing is that if we talk about the Python versions, and okay, so let's go to the official website of Python.
Okay. I think the current version is 3, right? 3 point.
Yes, 3.9. So what you are using is the latest version. If I go to python.org, this is the official website of Python. Okay, and you get a lot of resources here. So you have documentation, downloads. So so as you said, 3.9.2 is the latest version. Your Mac would have come with pre-installed Python. Okay, so in fact, when you are running on the command line, and I'll show you what command line is, you have to say Python 3 or pip 3, because if you just say Python or if you just say pip, it will take the Python 2. Okay, so all the Mac it comes with pre-installed Python, which is Python 2.x. Okay, Python 2.x is the older version. Okay, which is very different from what we are using today, which is Python 3. So so if you're a new programmer, okay, you will definitely never need Python 2. But let's say if you have very old code, if you're working for a company, the company has a very old code, 10-year-old code, so it might be okay in Python 2. But more likely, even there you will not find it, because since 2015-16, companies all over the world they started moving to Python 3. So I'm sure your prospect, your company, your employer would have also moved to Python 3. So in 2020, we are in 2021, definitely they would have converted all the code from Python 2 to Python 3. Okay. That's one.
Okay.
So Python 3. Now in Python 3 as well, what happens like Python is very dynamic language in the sense a lot of development work is happening every day. Okay, and there are some of the other changes which is happening like every 6 months or so. So there could be something which might work in 3.6, 3.7, but may not work in 3.9. So when you go to your company, you may not be working on 3.9. Okay? You could be working on 3.6 or 3.8 or 3.4. Okay, or 3.9. You might even be asked to maybe convert program which is not worked on 3.4 but not working on 3.9 to convert it to 3.9. Those kind of things. Which again, this is just for your information. We won't be doing anything like that. Okay. So because it's so much of changes happening, right? The program which would probably would run perfectly on 3.6 may not even work on 3.9. Okay. So what happens that and you might end up working on 2 or 3 projects together. Okay. One project might be using 3.6, the project might be using 3.9. Okay. So the virtual environment that we spoke about, or creating different project, you can create different project, and each of the projects. So one project cannot be linked to two Python interpreter, right? We saw was only one place to give the location for Python interpreter. But you can install multiple Python versions on your machine, and each project can be linked to one interpreter. So if you're working on 3.8 and 3.9 project, so you need to create two projects, okay? And one project you link to 3.8, other project you link to 3.9. How do you link? We had that base interpreter column there in the project. So you need to select the interpreter version from there. Okay. So when you install it, you will get a path, right? It will get installed in some folder location. In that folder location you give. Okay, that will create the 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 interpreter. So okay, so going back to the screen, this is if you are programming and if you are stuck somewhere, okay, if you don't know how to proceed, one option is, you do Google search, right? And you go to a website like Stack Overflow, which is the most popular website when, for addressing any technical problem. Okay. It has Of course, it has Python queries, and that's the first place where if people come across any problem, they post it there. So even if you get stuck in the future, Stack Overflow is the popular website. You can do Google search, and by default, Stack Overflow will be in top three of results. Okay, but let's say
Can,
something. Sorry, please say
I'm
something.
sorry. Can you give me the website, the spelling of Pack Overflow?
Yeah. So Stack Overflow, and the thing is, generally, you do Google search, and it definitely come in top three. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
public Q&A, you can actually go and you can so these are kind of questions people will ask, and it is for
Got it.
all kinds of programming languages, okay? Not only for Python. It has all. It's one of the most popular, you can say, website for query resolution. People will post questions. Okay, I'm looking to produce. There's haven't found any sources online to trying to help inspiration. Well, this is the question posted. They post the code as well, and then somebody would answer here. Okay? Some expert would
Got it.
definitely come and answer. So it was posted just 2 minutes ago. So this is the newest uh, question that was posted. So then you will have somebody coming in and posting the solution, and you will be able to you will be able to see the solution. That's
Got it.
But if you are you want to do it from scratch, this is the documentation. Okay, and this is the official documentation site. When you click it, it'll take you to python.org/doc. Okay, and you can type here print, or whatever you want to type, and it'll give you the complete, okay, description of the word, the keyword that you type. Okay, so this is the
Okay.
official website. If anything is announced, it will be announced on this site first, and then people from this site, they actually take it and they start publishing on their website. Okay, so this is the official website. So here you have doc option, button option. The docs.partner.org/. Okay, you can actually find everything here. Now, one more thing I want to tell you about is when you are searching for a code on internet, okay, just make sure whether that's a Python 2 or Python 3 code. Okay, if it is Python 2 code, 80% chances that it may not work, right? And if it is
Right.
Python 3, then no, I would not say 80%, 50% chance you can say. 50% chances that it may not work. Okay, only 50% chances that it might work. Python 2 code can also work because Python 2 and 3 syntaxes are different. So if the syntax which are different, if you're not using syntax which is common if you're using, of course you won't see the error. Okay. So just make sure which version you are using. Okay. So you see this. So right now, if you see, these are the versions supported by Python. So 2.7 was the last version in Python 2, and UL means end of life. Okay, so they are no longer supporting 2.7, and for 3.5 also it is end of life. So 3.5 also it's not supporting, but from 3.6 to 3.9 is supported, and 3.10 probably will be out soon, maybe in 3 months or 6 months will be out. So when you're working in active program, you should be able to see anywhere from 3.6 to 3.10 or 3.9 rather. Okay, earlier to these versions are not no longer supported, so companies have to move to this newer version.
Okay.
Okay, uh, then Python history, like who install, I mean, who develop and things like that. That's anyway not the point of discussion. Um, we will get going. Okay, so first we will see how different ways of running the program. Okay, now when you type Python here, okay. So it'll show me. I have actually Python 3.8. I don't have 3.9. So I have 3.9. So I mostly use 3.8. Okay. So I have 3.8, 3.9, 3.6, 3.7. Now I want to run, let's say I want to directly start typing on the screen. Okay. So I'll click on 3.9. Okay. It will launch this screen. You see this triple angular bracket? This means you are in a Python prompt. This is called as Python prompt. Just like you have command line prompt, it is Python prompt. Okay. And here you can type your program. So I can directly say print, okay, hello. Now when I hit enter, it gives the output. Here, okay, it is not very user friendly, and that's why we need PyCharm like IDEs. Okay, you have PyCharm, you have many other IDEs like PyCharm. So PyCharm is probably one of the most popular. You'll have Jupyter Note, you'll have Colab. These days, where Google has launched Colab. You can directly go online and write your program. You don't have to install Python and other things on your laptop. You just connect to collab.research.google.com and you can type your program there. Okay? So you can have Google Colab. You have other IDs like um, Atom or Visual Studio, okay, Eclipse. So these are other IDs. So what advantage is that that you get from using the IDs is that it gives you a great UI feature. It becomes the program becomes very easy. I could do program here, but it's so difficult. Okay, one. Second thing is if you have to write multiple lines, okay, after every line, it executes. It doesn't wait for me to enter. If you remember doing your C++ program, you could write 10 lines of code, 20 lines of code, then you execute it. Here, it is executed line by line. So that's why there's a difference between interpreter and compiler. So C++, Java, those are called compilers because it will give you, it will wait for you to enter complete program. Okay, you say that you have 15 lines of code or 10 lines of code. It will wait for those lines of code and then you execute the program. It will give you the complete output. But Python is interpreter. It executes every line. Okay, so that's why you see when I hit enter, immediately you saw the output. Okay, so this is the actual, Python thing, and IDEs like PyCharm is based on top of it. Okay, so that's one program, one thing. You could even okay, so okay, if I go to command prompt, CMD, and let's say that you have done program on your laptop, which has, if of course, let's say you already have installed Python and things like that. You have done the program, but you want to run it on a server, okay, or on some machine where PyCharm is not there or any other other IDs are not installed. It just has clean Python. So you write your program, you transfer the file using whatever different ways of transferring the file you have on the other machine. Then you go and you say something like this Python. Okay. Now when I hit Python here, since I have added Python in my location in the environment variables, I don't have to give the complete path. Okay. Otherwise, I would have had to say C colon slash user slash local whatever in complete path, and then I would have said Python. Then you say enter, and you give the path of where your file is .py. And the moment hit enter, your program will run on this machine, right? So this is second way. So this is same way which PyCharm uses, right? PyCharm uses inside exact same syntax. First you give the Python path, then you give the path for your file, okay? And you hit enter, and I don't have a py here, so it says file not found. But if your file was there, it would have executed the file.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
So for me, so is this the same thing for Mac? Because I know
Yes,
you're using
yes,
Windows.
yes. Same thing for Mac as well. So in Windows you start from C colon. In your Mac you start from slash user right? That's the only
Yeah.
difference.
Okay, that makes sense. And another thing is that I noticed when you opened your Python, it gave you the black screen where you can write text and stuff.
Right. So
But for
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, but for me, when I open my Python, it gives me like preferences, settings for file type, interpreter, and all that stuff. And then it gives me reset to factory settings. So how do I get to that point
No,
when I open
so
my Python?
correct. So what I have changed my I don't remember exactly, but you can explore these options here. You'll have similar options, settings and things. You can go and change your font size, editor. You can change all these color, font, style, all this you can change. Okay, so that's one thing. But now that you have written a program, okay, and you have run a program, when you close the PyCharm and try to start again, I don't it'll ask you all those things because now it knows that okay, the project 2 in your case, Python project 2 is the default folder. It's not going to ask you anything like that. So I can wait. You just go close your PyCharm and try to start again.
Okay, let me see if I can
Yeah.
get that. So I click Python launcher.
Not the Python launcher. You can directly click on PyCharm.
Okay.
The that one that you showed me, right? You had a PyCharm icon there, PyCharm icon, and
Yeah, so I go back to the main screen, but I got confused because when I saw you click the Python in your laptop, it gave you a black screen and it
okay,
automatically.
sorry. That was a Python prompt. Okay, so even you go to your folder location, you type Python 3, you will get it. Okay, so what I've done here, so you go to your location. Okay, so let's say you come to any of these locations, right? You'll have user slash, and here you type Python. Okay, so this is different. Okay, this is, as you said, it is Python launcher, and it is purely Python. So there's no link to PyCharm here. Okay, even you would get it
Okay.
if you type Python 3 in the prompt anywhere. You would also get this triple angular bracket. Okay, a sign like this. This indicates that your Python has been successfully installed and you are able to access Python.
Oh, okay, okay. I get it. Okay, sorry
Okay,
about that. Thank you.
no problem. And then when you go to, so this is PyCharm. Okay, what I used was Python, and that was only to show you. I'm not going to go to that screen ever again. Okay, because PyCharm is great tool, so we don't have to. And, even I use PyCharm here. So you can go and change everything. You can change the font size, color, all these things from here. But yeah, if you hate your black screen, probably you can change it to other screen from here. But that those are under your settings, file and settings, and you can explore all these options. Okay, what is
Oh,
important here is the Python interpreter, which is under your project name. So my project is called Project Practice One. Okay, and project interpreter. I can see I'm using Python 3.8. I can go and change different versions. Okay? I can go and change 3.9. Okay, 3.8.3, same one, right? I can go and change different versions. Okay, so you keep using 3.9, not a problem. Okay, and I'll keep using 3.8. So okay, so now that we are all set. Okay, so here see, if you see here, there are two important screens that we'll be using. The Python console is what we are using here, right? When we're running, it opens Python console. The terminal, okay? Terminal is what we will be using to install different things in future. So right now, probably we will not be using for next few days Python terminal, but when we need to use, I'll tell you, okay? You can go
okay.
from here, or you can go from view, tool, windows, and you can go to terminal. Okay, but for now we'll be using Python console itself. Okay, so here, yeah. So as I said, Python is a case sensitive language, and all the commands that you will see in Python are is in um, small case, lower case. Okay,
Okay.
so so you say print, and you have said hello, and you can right click on it and say run p31, and your p30 get the output here. Okay,
Okay.
so um, the first thing that we'll talk about is the type of data that we use in Python. Okay, so the type of data that we use, okay, is called integer first. Okay, okay, so this hash is used for comment. Okay, so when you put this hash, what it means is you're telling the Python interpreter, okay, you're telling the Python or Python interpreter that whatever I'm going to put after hash is comment, okay, and comment is only for us human being. It is not for Python to run. So you're saying that this comment you ignore, don't execute, okay. This is only for reference, and this is good practice to write comments. Okay, because let's say if you have written your program and I have to use your program, the comment will tell me what logic you have used or have you built your program. So it's going to help. It's like a help text basically inside the program. Okay, so it is always good practice to use code comments, and this we call it as one single line comment because I can put anything here, and then when I hit enter, my program is ready to be executed. Okay,
Okay.
so this is comment, and this is even, let's say, generally, even we, when we visit our own program after, let's say, a break after 1 year or even 2 months or 3 months, you will forget what you had done before, right? So it is
Right.
also a reminder for self that how I kind of built my program. So this is good way to write comments. Okay, I just say comment. Okay, now talking about data types or type of data that will be used, we'll talk about the primitive or the basic data type. Okay, basic data type. The first one that we come across, as you said, numbers. Okay, so first one is numbers, and you have integer numbers. Okay, and float
Right.
numbers. Integer are your uh, the, the whole number without decimal point, like 4, 6, 9, etc. Float has decimal point. Okay, so 6.0 is also a float. Okay, though it is evaluated to be 6, but 6.0 is your float type. Okay, and you can have 4.5 or 6.8, whatever, right? So these are
Right.
your float types. Now the third data type is called string. String is your text. Okay, and which means that it is always enclosed in quotation. So later we'll see that it can give uh, single quotation, or you can use double quotation. You can use triple quotation as well. So something like this, you can give hello here. You can give hello here as well.
Right.
Uh, Going back to the program that we had written before, print is a command, or it's also called as function. Okay, function means uh, and again, function, we have inbuilt function and user-defined function. User-defined function, UDF. Inbuilt functions are those which are already, so you don't have to make notes. I'm going to share the notes with you, complete detailed notes. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the reason is that I want you to concentrate and ask me questions if you have. Okay, and I'll share the complete PDF. Okay, I don't believe in presentations. Okay, because presentation hides a lot of information. Good to make a visual. If you want to make a visual impact, it is good. But if you want to do something in detail, then probably that's not a good thing. So I have created PDFs for each of the topics, and as we finish our each topic, either you give me your email ID, or if you don't want to give, that's also okay. I'll send it to Ram, and Ram will send it to you. The guy who
Okay.
are in the class.
That makes sense. Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, no problem. No problem. Okay. So coming back to this line of code. So here, okay, so I just said, right, we have functions. Functions means you write the description, or you have, program. After all, what we are doing is a program, right? And when you write few lines of code, okay, when we say print, and the print is done on the console at the bottom. So there is a logic behind print, right? So there is a set of code which is written for print. That set of code comes with pre-installed thing. Okay, so somebody has already written the print thing. When we install Python, we already got the print code here. So that's why you call it inbuilt function. Inbuilt function means it comes with Python instruction. You have not written it. Okay. If we write, we can also write our own function. So when we write our own functions, then it will be called as user-defined function. Okay. Point number one. Point number two, code for print is there somewhere. We are not bothered to know. That's the property of function. You write some set of code, 10 lines of code, 20 lines of code, or even 3 lines of code, and you give it a name. Okay. So you say that these three lines of code is called print, and everywhere else, okay, a different file and everywhere else, you are only calling the name of the code. That's called function. Function is basically set of code, set of lines of code for which you have given a name, and you are calling that function from somewhere else. So you have declared it or defined it once. You have declared what it would mean once, and then you are using it at multiple places. The advantage is that you are saving the time and effort, right? Because if I have not given print a name, I would have had to write 10 lines of code, which is equivalent of print, right? So I don't have to write 10 lines of code. I just call print, and it performs the operation. And after a few classes we'll talk about functions, so we will get into more about functions and how to declare, how to use all those things. But for now, it is good to understand that print is a function, okay, and inside that whatever we pass, it will print as it is, okay. One second. So print is a function, and function is always followed by the simple bracket, okay. So when you see print simple bracket, it means that print is always followed by simple bracket, okay. It is not followed by curly or square. We have to use this bracket only whenever you are using function. Whichever function you are using, it has to be followed by simple bracket, okay. So you have print, which has a special meaning. That means there are some lines of code associated with it. You have a simple bracket, okay, and you don't give space between print and bracket, okay. When print is a function, it has to be followed by simple bracket. Inside simple bracket, you pass the thing that you want to print, okay. Now how it works is, hello is a text. Text is always enclosed in a quotation, okay. So that's why when we say quotation hello, okay, because uh, hello is a text, and text is always enclosed within your quotation. You can use single, double, triple, we'll see later, but uh, I'll be using single or double mostly, okay. So it doesn't matter whether you use single quotation or double quotation, doesn't matter. So what it's saying is print. That's why we have bracket open. Inside that, I want to print a text hello. So when you print text hello, the exactly whatever you type inside will be printed here, okay. So if I print something like this, it will print exactly what is inside, okay. It doesn't use its brain. Text means whatever you enclose in quotation, exactly that will be printed. It doesn't have to, person doesn't have to see what you are printing inside the text, okay. Now, okay, so when I say here also, even though I have given a number 5, 5 is integer, but since I've given into code, it has become a string, okay. So this is string. Now if I can even say print 5, okay. Now 5 I have not given string, so this 5 is actually a number. It's treated as a integer value, okay. So see, first time when you click on run, you have to link your file name to the which file name you want to run. So once you have done that, from next time onwards, you can directly click on this, okay. You don't have to go and select the file name. From next time onwards, you can directly click on this. But now let's say you want to change the file name, you want to go here, P2, then you go and select P2 again from here. Okay, so you can say right click here, run P2. Once you run P2, from next time onwards, you can directly click on this, green arrow, and it will run the program. Okay, so you don't have to go to run and call that it again and again. Okay, you have here, you can select the file name from here, and you can say uh, arrow. So you have multiple places where you can click on run. Okay. So going back to our program, any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So okay, so I have print 5. Okay, this print 5. So output you see exactly same. Okay, it is also 5. It is also 5. But internally, it is string, and this is integer. Now, if I give 5 plus 3 or 5 plus 6, whatever. Now, since this is not a string, the print is going to evaluate and print it on the screen. It's going to evaluate and print it on the screen. So if I run it here, you won't get 5 plus 6, but you will get 11, because both are integers. So when you put plus between integer, it is going to add them together and you get the final output. Okay. So if you have a complex program, if you have, sorry, complex expression, okay, so these are called expressions. Okay. So this is called expression. Okay. So you can have complex expression and you say print, and it's going to print the actual simplified value on your screen here. Now, see the difference. If I make it as a string here, if I put them as a string here,
It won't give you 11.
yes, and it will give us exactly whatever there is in the quotation. Okay, so it will
Okay.
give you 5 plus 6. Okay, just like this. Okay, so it's going to give you whatever you give. Okay, so one more thing is, yes, you can use single or double, but whatever you start with, same thing you have to end with. If I start with single and end with double, is not accepted. Okay, and the PyCharm gives you, because it's an intelligent editor, so it gives you this red underline thing that there's something wrong here. Okay, so missing closing quote. So whatever you start with, same thing you have to end with. So I give single quote here. So now within single quote, whatever is there, it will print. So within single quote, you have 5 plus 6 inches, let's say. You know? So you get 5 plus 6 inches.
Okay.
So whatever you give in the text is, sorry, in quotation is considered as text, and it is printed as it is. But when you give something like this, now it will evaluate. Now, another option. If I give 5 here in quote, I give plus here, and I give 6 here. So what I'm doing, I am saying 5 is string, okay? And add is outside the code, right? Not inside the code. So that's why it is different from your line number 9. And you have 6 here. Now when I run it, okay, you get 5 and 6. So when you add two string, it concatenates. It puts them together. Okay. So when I say 5 as a string and 6 as a string, it is going to concatenate and give you 56 as output, not 5 plus 6, 11. 5 plus 6, 11 will be there only when you have integer, not text. So that's how the data type is important, because your output depends on the type of the data, okay, not on the value that you pass, right? As I said, right, passing 5 integer is different than passing 5 string. Okay.
So does the integer thing, the print with the without the quotations on the side, does that also work with float, or is it just for integers?
See, when you make a string, it is string. Doesn't matter whether it's float or integer or boolean. We'll talk about boolean and complex tomorrow. Doesn't matter. Okay, because it is string, so it is string. I can write YUTREW. Doesn't matter to the program because it is string. Correct.
Right.
This is what you
But
asked me, right?
no, but like
Okay.
over here we're doing it with string, right? But on the top we're using expression.
This one,
Yeah, so if I
line
just
number
put
8.
yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So
So yes, so plus works with float as well. Okay. So 5 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2 will give us 11 plus 11.5, right?
right.
You get 11.5. So
Okay, so
plus,
it works.
yeah, yes. And we'll have one session where we'll talk about uh, this expression as well, like different things that you can perform here. Okay.
Okay.
So these are called constant because we're passing them within the print. Okay. Now, if I have to change the value here, I can't change. So for that purpose, we use what is called as variable in any programming language. Okay. Variables, okay, is like you're defining a name for variable and then you're using it. So when I say a equal to 5, that means a is a variable name which has value 5. Now you see here, this a is without quotation because a is a variable name. So when you define a variable name, it is without quotation. If I put a quote, it becomes a value. Okay, so there's difference between value and variable. So when you in mathematics, when you say let x be 0, right?
Right.
So it is like saying that let a be 5. Okay. So when I say a equal to 5, it is like saying I can write a comment on same line as well. So what happens is till this point it is a valid statement, and after this point it's a comment. So it is like let's let's what did I say? Okay, uh, let's take a as 5 or something like that. That's what it means. That means a is a variable name. It is a name, and whenever I call it, it will print the value of the a. So when I say print a, and when I run it, okay, it's going to print 5.
Okay.
Okay, because a is a is a variable. Okay, a is not a text. A is a variable. So somebody who's new to program, right, they get confused between string, variable names, and other things. Okay, so when I don't put code, when I put code, it is string by default. Okay, whatever you put inside doesn't matter. When you put code, it is a string. When you don't put a code, then you have to look at it. If it is a number, that means it's a number integer. When you see a text like this, 100% it is a variable name, and this has to be defined before you print. Okay, when you select here, it's going to highlight in pink here. So if I say a equal to 10, okay, and when I select a, so you see both the a's are highlighted. This is a property of PyCharm, okay, not of Python. But, it tells you that when you are using a, these are the places where you have defined or you have given the meaning to a. Okay, and the execution of the lines of code happens in sequence, right? So here you have line number 1 that will be called first, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are quotations is going to ignore. After 1 you get 7, 8, 9, so on. Okay, so at
Right.
line number 10 the value of a is 10. If I do print a, here you get 10, but here I'm changing the value again. So till line number 12 value of a will be 10. In line number 13 a becomes 5. This is where I'm changing the value. You can change the value. Okay, you can change the value of a variable any point of time you want to. So at line number 13 I'm changing it to 5. So when I say print a, it is going to print 5 and not 10. Okay, because 10 was earlier up to line number 11 only. Now the value of a is 5.
So if a equals 5 or a is equal to, well, it's a variable, but let's say if the a is equal to 5 was right beneath line number 10, it wouldn't make a difference, right?
No, because when I say a, it's going to look for the um, immediate, not immediate, the previous value of a. For example, if I delete this, okay, and when I run it, okay, it's going 10. So it's so when I declare a, it's going back. Where did I find? Oh, it found in line number 10, it stops there, right? So it'll give you, so you can define a and then you can have 20 lines of code and then you print a, it will still give you the value which was 20 lines code ago. So wherever, like just the previous value, okay, and it can go up to beginning of the program. And let's say if you don't define it, okay, I give comment here. Now when I run it, it says a is not defined. Okay, that's
Okay.
an error. Okay, name error. A is not defined because you are using a, but what is the a? You are no, you did not assign the value to x. You are saying x square, right? Or in
Right.
your program, you are saying x plus 5. But x you have not declared. So when you say let x equal to 0, and then you say x plus 5, it will be 0 plus 5, right? So it tells
Right.
you that a is not defined, and you can't use it like
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
that. Okay? So I go and so so one thing I wanted to ask you, Kashi, is that how long are you comfortable to take this class? Like usually scheduled for 1 hour. You want it to be 1 hour, you can extend to 1.5 hours or so.
I'm okay. I don't know how long you're available. I'm okay with 1.5 hour, and I'm okay with 1 hour.
Okay.
However
Yeah.
many hours you're okay with. Um, I know it's the first class, so if you want to do 1.5 hour, that's fine. But if you want 1 hour, that's fine too.
All right. So I've got so today I have a meeting. So today I have to end it in 1 hour. But generally, Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, you could do for more than an hour. Okay. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Right now, I've got other office meetings, so I had to end. Today also, I got a meeting which is one of not regular meeting. So today I'll be ending. But generally, let's go for 1.5 hours because see, 10 15 minutes will go away in discussion and things like that. So 1 hour would be two less, and let's try for 1.5 hours from tomorrow. And if you find it difficulties, it's too long, then we'll come back to 1 hour.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
That's
And
fine.
yeah, and second thing is, which all days you want the classes to be?
Um,
Comfortable 7 days, 5 days, 6 days?
I'm okay with doing it 7 days as well.
Okay,
Because I do want to learn a lot, and there's a lot that's going on with
correct.
comments and integers and floats and strings, and
Right,
everything was just like a 1 hour today.
right.
Um, but if there is like a change in your schedule, or if there's like an issue with your schedule, then it's really up to you. Because
Correct. So
yeah, because
even
I'm
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
sorry, because I'm at home right now, so I'm all right. I don't have much to do, but I know you might be working, so it's really up to you.
Yeah, sure. So so I think for now, even 7 days work for me. So let's plan for all 7 days a week, okay? And let's say if you have some other work or if I get some other work, we'll inform each other in advance, right? So we can
Perfect.
let Ram know that you're not available. I'll let Ram know that I have got some work and I'll not be available, so that we are
I
aware.
don't know who Ram is though. I spoke with Miss Tanya. I don't know Ram's
Oh, so you
number
spoke
or
to
email.
Tanya, Tanya spoke to Ram, Ram spoke to me. So
Okay,
Ram,
perfect.
so Ram is a contact point for them in India, and he has contact with faculties like me. So Tanya
Okay,
would tell Ram that I need faculty for Python, I need faculty for something else, and then Ram will connect the session. Ram will talk to you. I mean, generally talk to me and get all the details and things like that. So yeah, I think the who sent you the Zoom link to you?
um,
Tanya. Tanya.
Mr. Venkateswar something.
Right. So yeah, Mr. Venkat. So he's uh, Venkat Ram or something like that. Yeah. So we call him as Ram. So yeah, the same guy. Same guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's
And
the same.
you will be my teacher every single day, right?
Yes.
I
Yes. Yes. Yes.
changing teachers.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
So
perfect. Because you go with my flow better than anybody else. So.
sure, sure. And of course, like this is like if you want me to repeat something, I'll repeat. If you think I'm going slow, you can ask me to speed up. You going fast, you can ask me to slow down. Right? So those things will take, as we go along, we'll tell each other if there is a problem, right? So that we can fix and we can continue uh, to do the job. Okay?
Perfect. That's fine. So we're going to meet tomorrow around the same time,
Same time.
around 7:30.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's perfect.
Sure. And maybe we'll extend for half an hour tomorrow. We'll do some.
Okay, that would be fine. That would be actually much better. I really do want to learn this as much as I can, because it's like a very versatile, as opposed to like C++ and
Yes,
Java. I think this is much more used
yes,
nowadays.
yes, yes.
So I do want to get used to
True.
this.
And initially I want to do it more because you get as you get more base. See, right now there's not much you can practice, right? What we did today, I mean, there's nothing you can practice, go and practice home, right? But let's say as we go along and we cover the basics, then you'll be able to practice a lot more programs. So my idea is to cover the basic, at least the basic part as soon as possible, so that you can go and practice beyond what we discuss in the class, right? And the advanced topics we can take, if it is, we can take one per day or something like that. So that's okay. But basics I want to cover as soon as possible, so that you are not dependent on me. You can even practice something by looking at different sources, or from somewhere else. Also, you can practice and come back to me saying that I was trying this program, I got stuck here. How do I move? Uh, So,
Right.
so one way is you seeing. When you see me doing, probably it is easy, right? I have some programs and I'm going to write it for you. So you'll see, oh yeah, this is easy. But when you start practicing, that's when you'll feel the challenge. So I will give you some assignments from tomorrow onwards. Assignments is mostly to practice when you're free. And you come back to me saying that, I got
Okay.
stuck here, I'm not able to move. And then I'm going to help you. So when you get stuck and if I help you there, and when the actual problem why you get stuck, you will learn much more, than just watching me doing it.
Right. It's like the math teacher
It's like
teaching you A plus
exactly.
B, and then on the test you see like a whole calculus situation going on. Also, one more
Yes.
question before I have you go. Are there any online, I guess, sites where I can find like separate practice problems as well, or no?
Yeah, there are several. Python, you don't have sort of resources there. You just say basic Python programs, intermediate Python programs, advanced Python programs, you get various sites. Okay. So, you can say basic Python programs for now, and you will get a lot of such sites you can practice. There are lots.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm gonna look into it because I do want to practice the print, the strings, the floats, so that I can remember it better.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, no problem. Then I guess I'll see you tomorrow then.
Yep. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay. And we'll continue our discussion.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Take care.
You
Bye.
too. Bye bye.